Why the law of the relapse at the time of the martyrs? Why hadn't the martyrdom in the first 3 centuries of the Church not been more magnificent than it had been? We could say to ourselves it is more or less a random life. If we do not offer a little incense each year for the emperor who is considered as a god within the empire, we may well risk our life, risk social death, even risk physical death. And so necessarily within this type of situation, those who are Christians are devout Christians. This is not entirely the case. This is not the case everywhere because the human being remains essentially a human being. It turns out that among Christians there had been some who were attracted to the prospect of martyrdom, not out of love for God, however, but out of love for the glory that comes along. They postured in front of their neighbor as being courageous people who love Christ above everything, and what came from pride produces fruits of pride. It had been during this time that a controversy within the church arrived. People very fervent who had been frequently tortured in Roman prisons and then released had complained that other Christians agreed to put grains incense in front of the statues of the emperor in order to save their lives. They had found such behavior shameful that they who suffered martyrdom were in the company of such lukewarm and weak Christians, and so they had requested that such Christians be excommunicated, banished from the church. Where did this harsh behavior come from? It comes precisely from the pride which can be put even in the martyrdom. You could say that no, someone who undergoes martyrdom does not desire to triumph. He understands that misery is he has suffered so much within himself. No, in the stoicism of this period, some may experience it as a glory, and we see occasionally still today in certain martyrs in the name of a fanaticism. Japanese fanaticism during the Second World War, current jihadist fanaticism. The saints of the time, the bishops, the popes, will have to decide when the time comes, and it is here that arrives out a compromise law, a pastoral law. The one who fell once, who made a sacrifice to the idols, will remain in the church, but if by chance he falls again, he starts again. If he is arrested again, and in order to save his life and his family, he performs this same gesture, then being relapsed, he will be excommunicated from the church. He will no longer belong to Christ. The Lord himself, if he had been there, would have said, we forgive 77 times, 7 times. We forgive incessantly. However, at the time it had not been in their minds to do so. At some point, the era of martyrs itself will produce more and more proud men, more and more proud Christians. Then God will end it to move on to something else. The time when the empire becomes Christian. The time when those who dream of the absolute would then become monks. Why does God allow this? Because if something produces pride, then it is useless. If something produces humility, then he puts it forward, because the salvation of man arrives with a humble heart.